Hello, apparently I'm live. I have not done this before, so please bear with me. My name is Emily Dustan. I am a accredited animal behaviour consultant and a force-free dog trainer in New Zealand. I thought this would be a really good opportunity to start something like this, to be in something like this, so I'm quite happy to be here. So a little bit nervous, but please just bear with me. Like I said, I've got some notes prepared for what Ruby said, that I can discuss anything that I like. So I originally am from South Africa. My husband and my family and I, we've just moved to New Zealand. So we've been here for a little while now, and I've just established my C-Spot Learn business here in Auckland. And what I would like to talk a bit today about is pretty much your beginning stages of puppy development into an adult dog, because at the end of the day, that's why we're all here. It's to have a puppy, hopefully prepare your pup for the absolute best, and in the end goal is to have a well-adjusted dog. So first things first, you would find a breeder, or it's a quick decision. There's so many things with some of my clients. It all depends. Some people spend forever doing their research, trying to find the right dog and the right breeder, and the right breeder who make sure that their dogs are all enriched. And then you get the ones who buy their puppies off of Trade Me, which we know, unfortunately, you cannot trace where they're from or what they're doing, but and parents, but again, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, being a dog trainer or behaviorist is doing your absolute best to help your client, the person you have in front of you, with their dog. So now you bring this puppy home, and you're very excited but nervous at the same time. You're not too sure what to do, and the puppy is either a bit nervous, or running all over the place, or really, really excited. So first things first, the advice is pretty much do nothing. It's one of the hardest things to do as a new dog owner. There's a famous saying, less is more. The puppy needs time to adjust to their new home, their new environment. They've just been taken away from their litter mates and their dam, and this is a whole brand new world for them. They've only ever known either the people who've been with them, with their mother, or, as I said, their litter mates. So once your puppy is now home, you have your basics, everything set up, and the best thing to start with is what to do and what not to do. Ideally, you manage your environment. Prevention is better than a cure, and you set up your puppy for success to prevent them from failing. Sorry, I'm just seeing people. There we go. Hello, everybody who's just joined. Thank you. So you set up your house for success for the puppy. You prep your rooms that you wouldn't like your puppy to go into. You put baby gates in front of the areas that you wouldn't like. And is my camera on? Sorry, someone's saying, oh, here we go. Okay, no, it isn't. There we go. So you restrict and limit their access to places, and by putting up a baby gate. Provide your puppy with appropriate outlets, with appropriate chewing outlets. Your puppy is going to be teething. He is going to chew anything and everything he can get his mouth onto, including your feet and your ankles and your pants and your table chair, and anything that your puppy can get hold of, your puppy is going to get hold of. So make sure that you have all those things ready for them. Good morning, Greg. Thank you for that. Interesting chews as well. Make sure that they're safe. Please avoid rawhide at all cost. Rawhide is really, really dangerous. If you want to get your dog a really good chew, you can go to your butcher and get a huge femur, something like that, or find whatever chews that you have at your pet shop. Just make sure that it's nothing ever really small. If you have a medium breed dog, then just get a medium-sized Kong. Don't get small Kongs. So things like that. You can provide your puppy with enrichments as well to distract and redirect chewing. Things like, the famous one is peanut butter in Kongs. but one you can use is just normal wet food, that you can paste that in a Kong. Lick mats are great. There is this, I think his name is Shay Kelly. There is this wonderful enrichment group that he has on Facebook, Canine Enrichment, and there's tons of ideas on there. And it's all just easy management, easy things that you can make at home to get your dog really in things to do so they don't get bored. As you know, that boredom is one of your biggest destructive behaviors. So yes, so again, just to recap for good morning, Julie. So for everyone who has just joined us, we just started for the basics, what to do when you bring your puppy home. So environmental management is probably one of the most crucial things to do when it comes to having a puppy or even adult dog if you bring a dog home from a rescue organisation. Less is more, start slow, manage your rooms, restrict and limit access to items and places, provide your puppy with appropriate chewing outlets, set up a safe place for your puppy, make sure that you have a crate, and if you don't have a crate you can use a little playpen that you can put in a corner. One of the most wonderful ideas that I saw, I don't know if you've ever seen those lino mats, one of my clients had used that for her playpen area so the puppy couldn't damage their carpet or flooring if they had accidents as well and they couldn't chew up anything. So that's a really good environmental management tool just for the place that you keep your pup. Crate training is wonderful. There's a couple of people that have always been opposed to crates. I've had some clients that go, oh, I'm not putting my dog in a cage. The idea is to create a really safe place for your puppy, and which is their sanctuary. Don't just put the puppy in the crate and go, there you go, great, enjoy your day, and leave them there. The idea is to gently desensitize them to the crate, and they create a positive association to that. So you start by feeding breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the crate, leave the door open, and then thereafter, after the first couple of days, close the door when the puppy's eating, just to get them used to being closed in. Then after that, you increase your duration for your puppy staying in the crate. Let them out, make a really big fuss, and every day you increase the duration of them being in the crate. A crate is also a wonderful toilet training tool, as well as it can also set your puppy up for getting used to being on his own, which is separation anxiety, is one of the a big problem that you will face having a new puppy. So with crate training, as I said, you start with food, you create a positive association with the crate. Toys are great. Leave the door open, teach the puppy to run in and out of the crates, make it a really, really fun game. So whenever that crate is around, the puppy's like, yes, that's it. What are we going to do? Something really fun and really great is going to happen. So again, have your crate ready for having your pup and or your new dog in the home. Same rules apply whether it's an older dog that you've just rescued or a brand new puppy. Environmental management is key for setting up your dog for success. Toilet training, it's a 3 rule. You take your puppy out after they've eaten, after they've woken up from a nap, or they've just rested. If you've been on your computer, especially everyone now, we're in COVID, your puppy will be spending, if you're working from home, your puppy will be spending a lot of time with you on the floor, next to you probably while you're typing. Things to make sure while your puppy is resting, and all of a sudden you're by your computer, you see your puppy get up, okay, you know you need to immediately take your puppy outside. For anyone who lives in an apartment, you have a little toilet area with a training pad. Take your puppy straight there. I personally like to use the word busy. That's just the word that I've been brought up with. So there's so many different cues that you can use. People say toilet. I have heard someone say hurry up. As long as it's said in a nice tone, the dog doesn't know, as long as it's a great association. So I'll say, come on, let's go busy, let's go busy. Take them to their spots. And the minute that they're having their busy and they're eliminating, you really go crazy. Well done, good dog. Maybe you can try and take them to the same spot to encourage that spot that you want them to be in. So as they wake up from a rest or as they sleep, you go outside. The next thing is after they have eaten, their tummy is going to be full. They need to eliminate. So the minute they finished eating, go to their spot, take them outside, and be patient. Patience is one of the biggest key. I know a lot of people get impatient. If you are in the UK, it gets very, very cold, so I'm not too sure. I've never been there, but I have a really good idea. I've got a lot of family and friends from there. So whatever your setup, it must work for you and your family So take your puppy outside after they've eaten and encourage them to toilets, and just wait it out. And again, once they have, you just make a really big fuss. After a big play or exercise, that is a really, really big one. So there's a lot of students that I have in clients with toileting problems. They'll take their dog outside or their puppy outside, and they get really upset because they've gone outside and the puppy or the dog hasn't gone to the toilet, and then they go inside and the puppy squats on the floor, and they go, oh, I've just taken you outside. Why didn't you just go outside? So, and what unfortunately happens, and it's unintentional, the dog has just made the association of toileting inside in front of you makes you unpredictable and unsafe. So it's never the owner's intention to punish or scold their puppy. The only time that I've ever really noticed is when owners use punishment tools. It's when they are desperate, or they're tired and they don't know what they're doing, or they're new owners and they've never owned a dog before. So it will be things like that. So if you've done that before, try not to do that again in future, because that does more harm than anything. You can either, first of all, go make that association that you are unsafe and unpredictable. Your puppy then goes and hides behind the couch and eliminates behind the couch, or what will happen is that your puppy waits and holds on. You go outside, you've now scolded or punished your puppy from toileting inside, you've now gone outside, your puppy is feeling too uncomfortable and worried to eliminate in front of you, so they wait, and then they get distracted because the leaf blows, and then a butterfly flies past, or the wind is blowing, or they're just really excited because you're outside with them, and they're running around and jumping, and you're saying, come on, come on, come on, you need to wee-wee now. And the puppy's going, yay, we're playing a game. They haven't made that association yet. They're not sure what it is you're asking. They've just become really distracted. Then you go inside, and then that's what happens again. The puppy then goes, oh my goodness, oh, okay, I need to wee. And they wee in front. And again, the whole process is repeated. So ideally, you just want to go, oops-a-daisy, all right, let's go outside, walk outside for a little bit, clean it up. My mom's famous thing is vinegar, sterilizes, gets rid of the smell. Then make a reminder on your phone. I've told some of my clients to put reminders on their phones, alarms. Take your puppy out after these things, or every 2 hours, hour and a half. Their bladders are really, really tiny. They only get full muscle function from 16 weeks, so it's really up to you to have active supervision when your puppy is inside. Okay, so now that we've covered the toileting access topic, punishing for accidents, again, the puppy could associate you with a negative thing in the experience, so they won't do it in front of you. It's really important to encourage, as much as you can, going outside and be really, really, supervise your puppy as much as you possibly can. Right, what not to do when you have a puppy or a new dog that you've brought home is do not punish or scold your pup. Again, this can potentially damage the relationship with your new puppy and cause mistrust. So, and avoidance as they get older. Any form of punishment, I'm not talking about your 4 quadrants of learning, where punishments is to decrease the behavior. I'm talking about a strong stare, shouting, a stern voice, smacking, tapping the nose, making a loud sound, anything like that can be perceived as punishment from the dog's perspective. As again, you must never think of this from the human's perspective. It must always be from the dog's perspective. We are 2 very separate species. We've got a really big species gap. What you perceive as harmful and scary is not what the dog may perceive as harmful and scary. You also take genetics into account. I mean, it's a discussion that can go on and on and on. So, but to make it really simple, it's any form of those type of punishments and scolding can damage a relationship, and that's why so many trainers are now advocating force-free, no aversion training, because it just really damages the relationship. It can also escalate aggression, and it creates an unpredictable dog. And it's not necessarily while they're so young, as they're still learning in the world. It's as they get older and they can be reminded some environmental stimuli can trigger a behavior, because it can trigger fear, things like that. So it's not always as simple as that, unfortunately. It can be a once-off thing. It depends on the level of punishment and how scared the dog is of the punishment. So one dog can hear one loud sound of a bike and then forever be terrified of bikes. I had a client drop his cell phone, actually over there in the corner. He dropped his cell phone and his puppy just still will not go in that corner, and it was a cell phone. So again, it's not what you perceive as scary, it's always the dog's perception of what is scary or what scares them. I'm not afraid of snakes, but there will probably be a couple of you who are afraid of snakes. So fear is in the eye of the beholder. So at the end of the day, punishment again can only damage the relationship and create you to be unpredictable to your pup, which then again causes mistrust. Have realistic expectations of your puppy and their age. One of the biggest things I see is the bigger the dog, the more they're treated as an adult. There are Great Danes that are 6 months old, and in their brain they are tiny, tiny. They are incredibly immature, but they are these huge goofballs with all they are legs, and they just run around and knock everything over like a bull in a china shop. And they get into a lot of trouble, and what happens is it's just the size. People don't deliberately mean it, it's just unfortunately they get treated like an adult dog because of their size. So it's really important to have realistic expectations of your dog and how you are treating them. Smaller dogs tend to get babied a lot more than bigger dogs because they're tinier, which makes them cuter. So we are more tolerant of smaller dogs, or seem to be more tolerant than a bigger, larger breed. Some breeds generally are a bit more neurotic than other breeds. Again, genetics plays a huge role in things, and it's not a nature versus nurture debate. It usually is kind of both, but some dogs are a little bit more neurotic than others, or a little bit more anxious. So it's really important that no matter what dog you have and what breed you have, what size your dog is to have really realistic expectations of your dog. The same goes as, like I said earlier, with environmental management. With puppies, don't have unrealistic expectations. Make sure you regularly take your puppy out because their bladders are really tiny. Again, there's only so much urine their bladders can hold. So realistic expectations falls on everything. It's not necessarily just your environmental management or toileting. It's what your puppy can and cannot do, and how well you have taught them. So owner compliance, or when it comes to training, or just owners in general trying to do the best for their puppies, it's always better to take the pressure off of yourselves and just take it step by step. So confidence building exercises are incredibly important. If your puppy is a really confident pup, you will actually prevent a lot of unwanted behaviors. So ideally, it's all about socialization. And in my experience, socialization is greatly misunderstood to the general public. They think socialization is you take your puppy to puppy class, or you take your puppy to meet other dogs and they must play, and everyone just does it and everyone's happy, and that's how you socialize your dog. And what tends to happen is that there's a lot of flooding involved. And what that means is you take a situation that the pup doesn't understand or doesn't know, or something that the pup finds a bit scary, and you go, here you go, deal with it. And it's very overwhelming, and the pup has no other choice but to stay there and deal with it. Or again, the dog, if it's a new dog that you've brought home. So puppies can experience that can have a negative effect on them. It all depends. So socialization isn't just socializing your puppy and taking them to puppy classes for them to play. Socialization is a lot bigger than that. It's about being in the car, having short car rides, household appliances, getting your puppy used to the vacuum cleaner, the broom, the mop, leaf blowers, lawn mowers, weed eaters, all those type of things. Different people, different ages, different sizes, different genders. Those all, if you have a household full of women, and your puppy has never seen a man before, if your puppy sees a man, he's probably most likely going to be afraid of him. Men are a lot taller, they've got stronger voices, they can be a lot more intimidating. So and it's also important when you do introduce your puppy to family members, is that you don't just pass the puppy on lap to lap to lap and go, here's the new puppy, everyone bends over, oh, what a great puppy. It's let everybody sit down, prep your family or prep your friends before they come into your home, sit them down and go, right, just let my puppy approach you, have some treats out so they can give the puppy some treats, really take it slow. Things that move on wheels, this includes scooters, bikes, prams, all of those things, skateboards. It's important that, I mean, you don't have to go all out, but whenever you do desensitize your puppy to these things, it's important to really do it slowly and make a really good positive association with it. Sounds is another thing as well, thunder, cars, bikes, fireworks. So we've just passed, well just, I know I said just, we're almost in March, but we've just gone through our festive seasons where there would have been a lot of fireworks. A lot of damage is done with fireworks, as you all know, with dogs. So from really, really tiny, it's important to expose them to very different sounds. So one of the things that I do and I encourage my students is to go onto YouTube. There's a sound desensitization video. You can go onto that and you start at a volume on nothing and you just turn it up one by one by one. So start at a really low decibel and play with your puppy. Throw the toy, throw a ball, anything like that is really great. Lots of fun. And then day by day, turn the volume up. You can do this while you're feeding your puppy, again, playing with your puppy. And if you don't have a lawnmower or weed eater, you can just Google and find that and put that on as well. So anything like that is really, really great, and that's how you would desensitize your puppy to sounds. Again, really slowly, and every time you can just put the sound up a little bit more. When you see your puppy's ears start to turn towards the sound, then you know that they can hear it and they're paying attention to it. So that's when you should just stop at that level and then keep it at that level for a little bit and then turn it up when you can see your puppy is coping. So yes, another thing is handling skills. So as a groomer as well, it's really hard when I have dogs in and the doodles, which is quite popular. They're a little bit popular in South Africa, but right here in New Zealand they are oodles, doodles, poodles, noodles, any oodle you can think of, they're all here. So, and a lot of them are incredibly hand shy, they don't tolerate brushes very well. It's been really difficult grooming some of these dogs. I don't use tethers, I don't tie them down, it's all food, and I know if the dog doesn't want to eat, then I know their levels of stress, they're over threshold. So it's really important when you get your puppy to appropriately desensitize them to handling skills. And also your vet will love you a lot for it as well. Get them used to being on a high table if they're little dogs. Use breakfast, lunch and dinner as your training opportunities. If you feed kibble, if you feed raw, then lick mat. Lick mat is your friend. And you pick the puppy up, put them on the table, put some kibble down and just stroke them with your hand. You can start off with that. Then get them used to your hand going down, up on their tail, lifting their tail up, obviously ever so gently, bringing your hand down their leg. It is really important when you're desensitizing your dog to handling skills that you always show your intention of what you're going to do. Don't ever just grab your dog, that will give them a fright and therefore hands can be scary. If you pick your dog up, make sure that you don't dig into their ribs or their sides, and it will be unintentional because you're just picking your dog up. People tend to hold little dogs like a little football. Please try and not do that. The best thing is to start from the head, down on the shoulder blades, and scoop your puppy up. You've got good support. It's very unlikely your dog can wriggle out of your arms. It's a lot safer. Plop them on the table. Slowly go down, hold their tail up, and again, head to tail, and then all the way down to their legs. Head, shoulders down to their forelimbs. So it's really important that you don't just grab their feet, because now you want to get them used to their nails being cut and you want to get them used to their feet being handled. Always show your dogs, that your puppy, your intention of what you're doing so they don't get a fright. It eliminates surprise, which then reduces reactivity. So you're starting with that. When you do the feet, press on their feet very gently and then put a little bit of pressure on each nail, just to get them used to that handling and that feeling. You're going to have the clippers, your nail clippers on the table, as well as a brush. Let the puppy sniff the brush. treat the puppy for sniffing and engage. Any engagement towards anything that you want them to touch or to look at, or you want to work with them, always creates a positive association. So now they're on the table and you want to examine them like a vet. You gently lift each ear, look in the ear canal, make really happy sounds, go, oh my goodness, there's your brains, yay, because it also lightens the mood, lightens the situation, which makes you more happy as well, which makes your puppy also happy. So look in the gums, feed, any interaction with the mouth, just feed. Drop the bottom eyelid down, have a little look there, and once off is never going to work. The more you practice, the better your puppy will get at being handled. So this is a really vital life skill that's incredibly important. So the more you handle your puppy appropriately, the better is that your puppy will be handled, and it will be less fearful for your puppy as they get older and go to all these situations that they're going to go to. So meets and greets with other dogs. It's never just let your puppy rush up to another dog. Try, and also, which is really hard, especially dog parks. Dog parks are, unfortunately, I don't promote dog parks. I find that it is usually a setup to fail for the dog, because there's a lot of people who, their intentions are always good, but they don't necessarily understand the implications of when something goes wrong, and it can go incredibly wrong. It's always the guy that goes, hey, my dog's friendly, and your puppy is still developing and they're going through their fear phases, and this dog might rush up to your puppy and give your puppy a fright, and the next thing you know, your puppy is now reactive towards other dogs and barks and screams, and you don't understand what's going on. But the guy's friendly dog came rushing up, so I don't know what the problem is, but that puppy doesn't know, or your puppy doesn't know, that that dog is friendly. To him, the dog just came rushing up. I always say to my clients, can you imagine, especially if they're sitting across from me, and I say to them, can you imagine I come up to you right now and I gave you this big hug? What would you do? And I didn't want to let you go. I just wanted to hug you. You would first give me a sign that I'm encroaching your space. You would probably lean back, try and increase your distance. You'd put your hand up saying, what are you doing? You would vocalize, because we're people, we vocalize what it is we're feeling, and we go, what are you doing? Can you stop that? And I still come and intrude and put my arms around you and give you a hug. You're probably going to deck me. You're going to punch me in the face. So that's the one that I go to the most. So to dog owners, it helps them really understand what it means by just letting your dog rush up to other dogs, or letting your puppy rush up to other dogs, because other dogs might not be as confident as your puppy is, and they might find that your puppy's encroaching on their space. It can be incredibly intrusive, and they can be reactive, and that's what causes reactivity. So there's a 3-second meet and greet rule. Let dogs meet each other, 1, 2, 3. Call your dog to you. Praise your puppy for coming to you. Also works on a recall, which is kind of great, and then reintroduce. Now, obviously, this is more ideal if it's somebody you know and you can communicate to them and prep them before you let your dogs meet. Again, dog parks, it's unlikely that that's going to happen, because people will have their dogs off lead and they will just rush up to you and meet you and meet your puppy. So again, it's really important, no matter whatever it is you do with your dog, that you set them up for success in all areas of their life, because whatever they're going to learn it for life. So if going somewhere and a dog rushes up to them and it happens to be a black Labrador, well, they might be reactive to black Labradors for the rest of their lives, especially if that dog has given them a fright. So meets and greets with other dogs should be a mutual interaction. If your pup seems intimidated or threatened by another dog approaching, then you need to be your pup's advocate and go, oh, look, I'm really sorry, my puppy's very young, please do you mind just giving some space? And then I know some people aren't confident in doing that, so the next thing you can do is really be observant in your environment. If you can spot someone really far away, cross the road, go to the other side, or maybe if you're not feeling safe, that day is not your day, rather turn around, go home. Prevention is better than cure. So your puppies have the rest of their lives to learn all of these things, even though there is that sensitive period to 16 weeks. Within reason, they do have their whole lives to learn these things. So you don't want to rush it, because rushing can cause flooding, fear, because the puppy doesn't understand what it is you're wanting from them. Understand your puppy's limitations and have realistic expectations when it comes to your puppy. And again, respect other pups and other people's spaces with their dogs. Their dog might not be as confident as yours, and you don't want to then scare somebody else's dog. Right, things like what your puppy is not. So there's a lot of, as this industry is incredibly unregulated, so if there's anyone new here who just got a dog and they're here just to learn more and find out more how to best help their dog or their puppy, the dog training world, I'm sure pretty much everywhere in the world, is incredibly unregulated. There's nothing that governs or holds people to what they do to animals. So there's a lot of misinformation out there that can be really harmful and dangerous. So dominance, pack theory, spiteful, jealous, stubborn, these things are not what your dog is and not what your puppy is. These things are a way for a human to explain something that they don't understand. And it's really, really, the best thing to do is research as much as you can when it comes to calming signals and stress signals and all of that, because that will help you understand your puppy a lot better, especially communicating. Dogs communicate via their body language and a bit through vocalization, but it's mainly body language. So it's really important that you understand stress signals, calming signals, and all of those, because they play a vital role in understanding your dog and knowing when to stop or when to carry on working with your dog. So it will be things like lip licking, blinking, sneezing, and these type of behaviors are always out of context. The dog's not going to yawn if he's stressed, if he's tired, or it could be conflicting, it could be, it depends on the environment completely. So if you feel that your dog is dominant, or if someone has expressed to you that your dog is dominant, it's very unlikely. So you're probably sending mixed messages to your dog doesn't understand what's going on, or he could be resource guarding a toy, water, a place to rest, resource guarding you because you would be incredibly valuable to your dog. So there's a lot of things. If you swap the word dominance with survival, that would give you a better understanding, well, most likely a better understanding of your dog, because the only time dogs really act out in a way that we think that they're trying to boss us or control us is if they're generally scared or super excited, and it's humans' misunderstanding. So if you are struggling with anything like this, where you feel that your dog is not listening to you, or you've got to the point where you want to pull your hair out and you're just like, that's it, this dog is trying to manipulate me and control me, and I've had it. Please find someone who is certified. Ask them questions like, what would you do? How would you teach me to, or how would you teach my dog if my dog didn't want to listen? And if they say anything, well, like your dog has to listen, or else, walk away. If they say things like, oh, well, your dog really needs to listen to you, so if it doesn't want to sit, you just need to push them into the sit, then they will learn. Find somebody else. Red flags are pack leader. Just walk away. And again, this is a whole different topic that I'm sure all of us, even myself, can go on and on and on about, but the idea for this is to explain that your puppy is not dominant, your puppy is not stubborn, your puppy's not waking up in the morning trying to figure out how he's going to control you and control every movement that you make to make sure that you know that he is the alpha. Definitely not going to happen. You need really high cognitive intelligence for something like that, and your puppy's brain is probably like that big. They wake up hungry or needing to wee, or, oh, person, yay, let's play. So really think of it as simplify it to yourself as much as you can. Right, so understand medical conditions also play a role in behavior, and as a behavior consultant, that is my first go-to before I even think that it is a behavior problem. And I will not assess a dog until the vet has given the dog an all clear, which means a physical problem can cause a problematic behavior. So if your dog's in pain and your dog is being stubborn and you're seeing a trainer because your dog doesn't listen to you and he doesn't sit, and that trainer is forcing that dog's hips down to get them into a sit, Your dog's not being stubborn. He could have hip dysplasia. He could have so many things wrong with him as to why he's not responding to cues that you are giving. So before you even think that your dog is dominant, spiteful, jealous, stubborn, really think, has my dog maybe hurt themselves? Are they in pain? If it's an old dog, degenerative diseases, things like that, you really need to think on. I have a lot of people who go, my dog is just not listening. I don't know what his problem is. He's being really stubborn. And I will go, right. And they're on the phone. I go, how old is your dog? Oh, no, he's 8. Okay. So I'll say to them very politely, please, could you just, you know what, rather safe than sorry, even if it's nothing, please make sure that the vet has ruled out that your dog's hearing and eyesight is okay, because the dog might not be able to hear you, and that's why he's not coming when he's called, because he's an older dog, and his hearing isn't the best. My granddad is turning 101 this year. I promise you, his hearing is not the best. So the same thing kind of happens with older dogs as well. Again, realistic expectations towards your pet. If your dog is getting older, they're going to get a bit more wonky, they're going to get arthritis, they're just going to be these golden oldies, and they need to be wrapped up more in bubble wrap and be respected for their age. Sorry, I know I'm going a little bit off topic, but golden oldies are really a very big passion of mine. So yes, make sure, rule out any physical abnormality before you assume that it is a behavioral issue. So it would be eyes, ears, teeth, gums, gum disease. If your dog is growling at you, your dog is very uncomfortable. If he's not scared, he's uncomfortable. There's something going on. A growl is something that I absolutely love, and I know a lot of other trainers and behaviorists out there feel the same. We love growls because the dog is being an exceptional communicator. It's quite a vast saying that your dog is not personally insulting you or being rude. Your dog is genuinely saying, I'm uncomfortable with the situation. If it continues, I'm going to bite you, so please stop. And then unfortunately, people get really upset when their dogs growl and go, stop it, don't do that, that's rude. Or, you know, hey, stop growling at the other dog. And I know people get embarrassed. I've seen it in the park. I know with my clients, they go, especially the little puppies, and they're all so eager to join, and they're in their puppy class. And then the one puppy goes, ugh, to the other puppy, and then she's like, no, don't do that, that's rude. And she apologizes to the other owner, and then she's like, oh no, it's all right. And meanwhile, what's happened is the pup's going, oh my goodness, I've never been in a place like this before. There's another puppy. I'm excited, but I'm scared. Ugh, stay away from me. I'm not sure what I'm feeling yet. Just give me some space. And then the puppy gets verbally scolded for something like that. And then next thing you know, if the puppy gets a fright by saying, oh, growling doesn't work, okay, I get into trouble when I growl. The next time, he's not going to growl. He's just going to bite. So it's really, really important to never punish a growl. It's an exceptional communication tool that dogs use for you. So it's really important that you listen to that. And if your dog is growling, he's either in pain or he's exceptionally uncomfortable. And it's best to back off, reassess the situation, and take it from there. So yes, right. So again, always rule out any physical abnormalities before assuming that you have a behavioral problem. Okay, signs that your pup or your dog is not coping is trembling and shaking, not just if they're cold, literally their eyes will be really large, their eyes will be dilated, you can also see the whites of their eye, their pupils will be dilated, their brows might also be a little bit furrowed, barking excessively, the yappers, hiding away. The body language is always quite lower for some dogs. Some dogs that are really stressed and they're sending calming signals, trying to calm themselves down, tell you that they're not a threat. They tend to make themselves a little bit smaller. Their ears will go down, turn the face, they'll have a face aversion. You might notice they'll do things in sequence. They'll do a sneeze and a lip lick, so they'll be like, and then lick their lips and excessive blinking. Look for that. So it's behaviors that are out of context, and you don't look for one sole thing, you look at the whole picture of the dog. So wagging tails does definitely not mean a happy dog. For people that are not sure about what dog body language and canine body language is, it's a whole package, a whole variety of things. So again, growling, that's when the dog is really at the highest peak of please stop doing what you're doing, whether it's you or another dog, because I will bite you if this continues. Excessive panting. Some dogs, what's known as a spatula tongue. The tongue really comes out far exposed and then it curls at the bottom. That's known as a spatula tongue. That can really show high levels of stress. So do not punish any behaviors again. That's not ideal. Rather take your dog out of the situation far enough to the dog's perception of what far enough is. It could be 1 meter, it could be 2, it could be 20. All again depends on your dog. If you were at a far enough distance where you can see that your dog has started to calm down and is not breathing so heavily, or you can see a little bit more behaviors, but a bit more relaxed behaviors, then you know that you are at a safe distance where your dog feels safe. So these rules really also apply for puppies. Dogs are sometimes not the brightest, and I say that with lots of love. They're not the sharpest tools in the shed. Sometimes they do not make the best decisions. So it is really up to us to, again, be our dog's advocate, and it's up to us to identify the behaviors that our dog is presenting and deal with the situation that's happening. So, right, environmental stimuli and management. We are now talking about management versus training. I just want to check on the time, sorry, because I don't want to go over time if I'm not over time. There we go. Okay, so, to just sum up my talk, there's a very big difference between environmental management and training, although they do merge into each other. Environmental management is, like I was saying earlier, when you restrict access to areas that you don't want your puppy in, that's environmental management. When you are walking in the street and you see the 45-kilo Rottweiler that you don't want to interact with, you cross the street, that's environmental management. So it's all about setting your puppy up for success and working with your dog. Sorry. So training is watch me, look at that, sit down, stand, and then, oh, I'm just going to get some water, I'm really sorry. Excuse me for a second. Okay, my apologies, sorry about that. So, if you're walking and you see something and you want to prevent something from happening, your environmental management will be taking your dog out of that situation. So your puppy will always be different at home than what he will be in another environment. So it's really important that, again, you have realistic expectations of that and you set your puppy up for success. Do not take your puppy into dog parks, especially even if they're all fully vaccinated, that are overwhelming and all off lead. Make sure that you set your puppy up for as much success as possible and keep them safe. You can use protocols. There are lots of protocols on the internet that you can find. Care for Reactive Dogs, Dr. Karen Overall, her relaxation on the mat protocol. I do apologize, I'm really sorry. And, excuse me. Okay, now I've brought my water a lot closer. So those are really, really great things to use, especially Dr. Karen Overall's relaxation mat protocol. And I know, if I say her surname wrong, please bear with me, Emily Loram, she does Capturing Calmness that you can find on YouTube. Those are really excellent for getting your dog or your puppy used to, or getting them calm in situations. You can use a towel, a mat to take if you're going to a cafe, things like that. So that would be your environmental management. The training aspect is if you are walking and your dog is now afraid of something. You would have trained your dog prior to these situations, kind of setting your dog up for success in puppy classes and practicing them at home. And that's what this is again all about, is having your puppy and building them up for success so you have a well-adjusted dog later on in the future. So I see a Rottweiler and I go, oh no, watch me, close, let's go this way. And there I go, off I've now set up my dog for success. And sorry, I have recovered from just being sick, so I do apologize again, I know it must be horrible. So yes, so that is your difference between environmental management and training. So you cannot train your dog if they're under stress. You cannot train your dog who is freaking out. No training can take place, no learning can take place when your dog is really, really anxious. So try and manage your dog as much as possible, take them out of situations that you don't want them in or prevent them from going in. And I suppose it's all about building the right foundations to create a safe and stable dog for a lifetime of happiness. So yes, that is what I wanted to talk about. I think I'm finishing a little bit early. I do apologize, Ruby, if I am finishing a little bit early. I apologize again for all my coughing, but I am recovering from being sick. I don't know if I'm supposed to now answer any questions. If anyone wants to ask any questions, this is the first live broadcast I've ever done, so thank you so much all for watching and listening to me ramble on. And so many great discussions. This is such a great thing to do, so I'm not too sure if it's just Ruby who's organized this or anyone else who has. This is amazing, well done. I've sent this to a lot of my clients, so I'm really hoping that they see these videos and they join this, because this is really great. Very basic speech that I made. It was just for the average owner, because at the end of the day, you guys are the ones who need the help and we're the ones here to help you. So yes, all right, thank you, Jen. 45 minutes is great, I think so too. I hope you all enjoy the next couple of days of these webinars. I'm definitely going to watch some. I'm pretty excited about them. I'm going to end this. I'm not too sure. Oh, there's a finish button there. So thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day, because it's daytime there in the UK. It's evening, Friday night now. So yes, thanks so much. Oh, well done. Good luck, Julie. Yes, it's actually quite fun. I was a little bit nervous in the beginning. My heart was a bit racy, but you get into it. I had my notes, so you'll see me staring over there. But I did have my notes because I had one day to prepare. So sorry if I was a little bit jittery, but this was really great and I enjoyed it. So thank you, Ruby, for the experience, and thank you all again for listening to me. Have a wonderful day. Bye.